All right, here we are again.
Yeah, round
Hey,
two.
Pat. Round two. Listen, we may have just recorded probably about 2 minutes worth of content before I realized that my audio wasn't being captured. Yeah, we're trying out a new way of capturing the podcast recording. So bear with us for any technical difficulties. Anyway, hi everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the What to the Case podcast. I am Matt Klubeck, and today with me, I have my salad crouton.
Again.
How you doing?
Okay, so now do you like small croutons or do you like large croutons? That
Right,
was
and
the
this
question.
is where we were before I realized that my audio wasn't being
Yeah, so
captured.
do you like small croutons or large croutons?
Okay, so I didn't know that there was a lot of varying size of
Oh,
croutons.
sweetie, there are so many different sizes of crouton.
Okay, what size of crouton do you prefer?
I prefer like the average. I like a middle-sized crouton. Too small, they absorb too much of the salad dressing, they become mushy really quickly. But
Yeah.
too large, and then I'm like trying to like break a rock with my teeth. So I like the medium-sized one. Also because if the croutons are too large, you don't get very many in like a particular bowl. Ironic that we're talking about salads because Kelly and I were just talking about how we wish there was a salad place nearby where we live because we really want to just, sometimes you just really want a good salad or salad wrap.
Oh yeah, I forget what it's called. There's one salad place that's by my work office. It was pretty good. I had it once, but you know what? I'm not a huge salad person, so I probably wouldn't go there usually.
For anyone who lives in Jersey and finds themselves on Route 18, do yourself a favor and stop at Art of Salad on Route 18 North at the
Ooh,
Midstate Mall. Especially in the fall and winter, they have butternut squash that you could add to it. And when I tell you, darling, dear, let me tell you, that butternut squash in a salad wrap with sweet potato chips, I mean,
I live.
there's something happening there, and I think we need to discuss.
Something happening in my pants.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, so Pat, now that we are recording this for the first time without being able to see each other, how do you feel?
It's fine. I'm actually kind of excited because I can't wait for you to look at the recording and see me do like random shit when we're talking. Because it feels much less performative now because you can't see me, so I could be like cooking an omelet in here and you wouldn't know until the actual
Oh my
episode
god,
goes
that'd be
live.
so interesting. You like do secret things every time, and then you see if I actually like watch it when I'm editing, which I don't usually. So then it'll just slip into the podcast with that. Like you could pull out your dick in the middle of the episode, and I probably wouldn't catch it.
We would get demonetized over the little money that we do make.
Listen, the only place where you could see the video is on YouTube. If you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, it's What Do the Gays Think on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's the only place where you could see our video. And that's the only place where if Pat did randomly pull out his dick, you'd be able to see it. I'm pretty sure the video would just get taken down. But we're not monetized on YouTube anyway.
I guess they're gonna have to just go look at our YouTube channel to see if it happens.
Here we go. You never know. Cross-platform. Anyway, so Pat, I'm going to try to have us do more segment-based content in this podcast now.
Why are we talking about this on air? Why didn't we just mention this before?
Listen, I already mentioned it to you, and I wanted you to read the document that I sent you, and I'm not sure if you did. So anyway, we're going to start with our first segment, which we've both called Let's Get Personal, in which we just talk about any updates that we've had in our personal lives. So Pat, why don't you go first?
My eyeball is swollen.
Okay. Like the actual eyeball, or like the eyelids around
It's
it?
the ball. Every time I tell people this, they're like, oh, is it a sty? Is it on your lid? And I was like, no, that's why I specifically said eyeball and not eyelid. The amount of times I've said this and people go, oh my god, it's probably just a sty on the lid. It'll go in. I'm like, no, you don't understand. It's the ball. And they're like, well, how do you know? And I'm like, okay, I'll tell you how I know. For one thing, if I touch the eyeball, it hurts. And then if I turn the eyeball and then touch the same spot, it doesn't hurt because the eyeball has now shifted. And if I move my finger to where the bump has shifted and poke it, it hurts. Second of all, I've lifted the eyelid, I've held the eyelid between my two fingers, and it doesn't hurt. It's the eyeball that hurts.
again, ew.
Why is it ew that my eyeball hurts? It just happens. You get swelling.
Because like anytime like people talk about their eyes and stuff, I don't know. It's just like, you know,
for anyone who's watching my video, they can see me rolling my digit over my eye, closed, not open. I'm not a fucking lunatic. But it's not pleasant. But it's not the lid, because I can lift the lid and fucking fuck around with the lid. I could cut it off and I wouldn't care. So I gotta go to the doctor soon, because it's been like this for like a week and a half now, I think.
I just think I find eyes a little bit weird, just in general.
Why?
Maybe it's because like in a lot of horror you'll see like severed eyes, and like, or like the evil villain will be like eating raw eyes or something like that, and it's just it just like gives me shivers.
Well, if anyone's wondering about seeing the film Barbarian, the most recent horror film out currently, there is a little thing that has to do with eyes. It has to do with Justin Long's character, and ironically, he also had an eye problem in the film Jeepers Creepers, which is another horror film that he played in.
Oh.
So there's a lot layers there.
Great. I love layers of, you know, onions.
Speaking of, I saw Barbarian, it's great. I don't think I mentioned on the pod, but it is a lovely horror film. I suggest people see it if they like a very fun ride of a horror film.
You know what?
It's not
I do like horror films, and the Halloween season is coming up, so maybe I'll see it. But first I have to see Bros.
Yes.
Anyway, we'll talk about that later. Anyway, Pat, we went to New York the other day. I was in New York on business, but we hung out one night, or 2 nights. We hung out for 2 nights. But one night we went to a drag show at a bar in New York called Verse. Lovely new bar. It's only been around for so long, right, Pat? Or
it's relatively new. Yes, it's relatively
new. Verse lovely because same. Anyway, we
yes. Gotta make that joke.
No. We saw a drag show while we were there. And this drag show, I think we both agree, was a very good drag show. For me, I think it may have been the best one I've seen. Like, and I mean, I've only seen like 5 or so drag shows, but this is the best one I've seen. What do you think?
It was definitely a breath of fresh air. It was a lot of time. I mean, this isn't to shade New York queens. This is just what New York drag looks like. You know, you get there, it's a lot of singing, dancing. It's mixes of songs with like dialogue from films, dialogue from shows, dialogues from news clippings. It's some comedy, but this was more camp. I mean, there are campiness in New York. You can find more campy queens, but Svetlana Stoli, the drag queen, was a bit more camp than I normally see when I go to New York shows. And she did do mixes, she did sing, she did dance, but she just brought more levity and fun camp to it, which I thought was very, very exciting.
Yeah, there was a lot of fun bits, like the bun that she had like around her crotch area, and then pulling out the hot dog.
Picture this. She's in a sort of Roy Rogers diner waitress outfit. You'd see this person probably on roller skates. It's the short skirt. It's the sort of like the blouse top that show the breasts. You'd think she'd have a sort of notepad in her hand to collect your order, and then she removes the garment to reveal a more skimpy outfit with a mustard and ketchup bottle on each tit, and her crotch has become encrusted and blazed with a sort of styrofoam, sort of foamy hot dog bun, where people began to tip her in and then pulled out a hot dog puppet. Yes.
Thank you for painting that word picture for me. I was so able to relive that moment in my head just now.
It was lovely. It was quite lovely.
It was quite lovely. And then at the end, she did this bit with that new Korn song that's been going viral recently.
Honestly, that was the first time I heard it. I hadn't heard it prior to.
Really? It was all over TikTok like weeks ago. Probably like end of August was like when that was really popular. You really hadn't heard that song before then?
No, just like you hadn't heard the thing, What Is Going On in the House of Commons.
Okay, well, slay.
I think there's a lot of stuff on TikTok that people do miss out because the algorithms only show you certain things.
That's true. But anyway, she went around. She had like a fake corn, like a fake corn on the cob that she was walking around with as this was playing, and she was just holding it out to people. And I don't know if she was getting the people to jack this corn off or if the people just voluntarily did this. But she walked around and people jacked off that corn. And it was...
I think people felt it. You know, they felt the spirit move them. They knew. You know, it was in the moment. It was the setting. All the things aligned perfectly, and the masturbation was kind of just, you know, the natural thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because for me, when I see a corn on the cob, the first thing that I want to do is masturbate it as well.
I don't really eat corn, so I didn't really.
Oh my
feel
god,
that.
I love corn. Honestly, that kid that sings the corn song, I vibe with him. Like, I love corn.
I know. I think it's more of the thing of like, if it's like on the cob and buttered, I will eat it. But
well, it's the best kind. It's the best kind.
It doesn't really. I don't know. It doesn't hit. It doesn't hit the same. It doesn't satisfy the same as some other veggies.
I was at a party not that long ago, maybe like 2 months ago, where they had so much corn on the cob, and it was so good. It was that buttered, roasted on the grill, or I guess grilled, and it was so good that I ate like 3 of them.
Was it Jackie's?
No, but it was so good. I ate like 3 corn on the cobs, and you know that like you can't digest corn.
No.
So for the next like at least 2 days, I was shitting just straight corn. Just
yeah. The body can't break down that cellulose, so
I was looking at it. I was like, I thought I chewed up that corn, but it came out like full kernels, and I was like, okay, sure.
Well, you know, some obviously get chewed up, but you know, we swallow a lot that doesn't because corn is so small.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, anything else for the Let's Get Personal section, Pat?
No.
Okay, Slay. I'm gonna move us along then. Again, I'm workshopping the names of these segments. But the next one is going to be like the social cultural discussion section. For now, it's called Spill the Tea, but I'm going to workshop some of these titles.
Yeah, I mean,
here.
that's just low-hanging fruit.
I mean, it is low-hanging fruit, which is why I want to think about other potential title names for these segments. But anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit about some social cultural things that are going on recently. The one thing that came to mind for me is the Little Mermaid trailer that came out recently. The Little Mermaid, Ariel, the actress who is playing her, Halle Bailey, I believe is her name. She is a black woman, and there has apparently been some backlash.
I can't believe you'd bring race into this.
Here we go.
I can't believe you'd bring race into this. I doubt anyone else has brought race into this. I don't think the conversation has anything to do with her race. No.
Anyway, there's been some backlash, obviously from the conservative circles of the internet, about her being cast as a black woman. Mostly people saying like, oh, like she was originally white in the animated, so then why would you cast her as a black woman in this one? Yada, yada, yada. I lived for it, though. Honestly, I think I wasn't originally going to see this film, but now I think I will, just to spite the conservative circles of the internet. What do you think?
I think that there were 2 main complaints that I saw, one of which was obviously that she was black and that Ariel in the original was not black, and the second being that it didn't look like it was really shot like it was underwater. To the latter, I say it's a fantasy of an idea to assume that you could film an entire film underwater with a mermaid, because they don't exist and it's extremely difficult to do. And when people speak underwater, let alone sing, they produce air bubbles, which if you watch the clip, she did not, and would be very distracting if you constantly saw them leaving people's mouths. So I can understand why they had to sort of give up some realistic notions of being underwater for the sake of producing what looks like a lovely shot film. And if you look, I mean, it looks like it's underwater by how the objects around her behave. Her hair, things floating in the water, things, shit like that. So just suspend your disbelief. It's a fucking fantasy movie. Like, suspend your disbelief with all film. That's what film is. Except for if you're watching documentaries.
I thought it looked... I don't get that critique because I thought it looked like she was underwater in that one scene that I saw.
I thought it was lovely. And then the whole... Her as a black woman... I hate to break it to everyone, and I know this has been said before, so there's no real point in bringing it up again. But mermaids don't exist. Mermaids don't exist. Ursula, that sea witch don't exist. Talking fish don't exist. King Triton or Poseidon, whatever the dad's name is, he doesn't exist. Like, this is all fake. If you really want to see a white Ariel, you watch the original. This is not a shot-for-shot faithful adaptation of the original. It's a remake. It's a reboot. This is what Disney's been doing. They just... I don't understand why people cling to, I guess, nostalgia. They cling to the way things work because they don't like the idea of things changing. I think it really is based in a white person's fear of being left behind, a white person's fear of being no longer relevant, of being a minority. But if you like Ariel being white, you watch the original. If you are open to something new, you watch the remake. I don't understand why this is such a big problem. I think it comes from an uneducated white person base that doesn't understand film and art and the idea of personifying a character that transcends race. Ariel's story was never about what her skin color was. It was about her talent as a singer and how stupid she was for giving it up for a man.
Ooh.
Like, that's really the crux of the film. That's my problem with the film, and I'm sure it'll be a problem with both the animated and live action. This woman has an amazing talent that she gives up for a man, and Ursula even teases her about it. Ursula knows she made the mistake, like, but then by the end she realizes, and then she can have both. Like, it's a happy ending. I'm sure it'll still be a happy ending, but that's really the part of contention.
In the Disney version, yeah.
So, I mean, if you really want to get specific, if you really want to get nitty-gritty to adapting it faithfully, you go back to the original, Brothers Grimm's or whoever really authored these tales originally, and they're a lot worse in terms of how dark they get. So if you want to get a good adaptation, you go back to those babies. So I don't know. I think it's ridiculous, and I hate it.
Yeah, like I said, I don't like what Disney is doing too much with all of the live action remakes. I think it's I think it's just a way for them to get money by playing on people's nostalgia of these old movies. The Lion King remake, the Beauty and the Beast remake, all these other remakes, the Little Mermaid remake. I don't necessarily like it, and I haven't liked most of the live action movies that have come out of it. However, like I said, I probably wasn't going to see this movie. Now I think I am going to. Because I want to support the fact that this black actress is playing this role in which she is garnering a lot of backlash. So I want to show my support.
I mean, I don't know if I'm going to see it because honestly, I don't really like these. I'm not a big fan of Disney film in general. Like, I never really have been, but maybe I'll see it. Sure, just to, just
like
to fuck with
like
people.
any Disney movies.
No, I mean, like, when I was a kid, I liked Disney animated films for sure, but as I've grown up, I've gotten very distant from them. I mean, Pixar films take more risks than Disney films, and the content they discuss is usually more, is usually topics and emotions and situations that have a little more depth than a Disney film.
Okay, slay.
But you better believe that if Disney ever does make a true Disney princess or prince film that features a queer character as the main character, I'm going to be there immediately just to see how it turns
I'll
out.
be there too. And I think they're too much of cowards to make Luca that first film.
Well,
but
Luca
anyway.
was Disney Pixar, wasn't it?
Was it also Pixar? Never mind. Well,
I think it was Disney
still.
Pixar. I don't remember. But anyway, doesn't matter.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on from this. Anything else like social, cultural, spill the tea worthy that you want to talk about?
Sure. I mean, we've got we have the Don't Worry Darling scandal stuff.
Ooh, tell me about that, because I don't know what you're talking about.
I guess we didn't talk about this. It's been a while since we recorded, but basically Don't Worry, Darling is a film directed by Olivia Wilde. And to the best of my knowledge, because there's a lot going on, it was meant to star Florence Pugh as the main actress, and then Shia LaBeouf as the main actor. I believe Florence Pugh and others did not like that Shia LaBeouf was in it because he had been implicated, accused of, I'm assuming, domestic abuse of some sort or some sort of sexual misconduct with his previous girlfriend / partner. So Shia LaBeouf was removed for the film. Olivia Wilde, the director, said that he was removed to, obviously protect Florence, protect, the other cast members that might have been female, whatever. But then Shia LaBeouf had posted a video from Olivia Wilde where Olivia Wilde was kind of asking him to come back to the film, which made Olivia Wilde look like a liar. And then Olivia Wilde brought on Harry Styles to replace him, who she is currently dating, who she may have, this is conjecture, I don't know if this part's true, may have had something with while she was with her previous partner, whom Florence Pugh is actually friends with, which made some contention between Florence and Olivia.
Sounds like a hot mess.
So it was a hot mess, and then it debuted at the recent film festival or wherever it was, and then there was someone thought Harry Styles had spit on Chris Pine.
Oh my god, I saw that clip,
which people kept saying no, he did not, and then PR teams had to go, no, he didn't spit on him. And can I just say, everyone made the memes about how miserable Chris Pine looked at this event, which he did look miserable. And Florence Pugh sadly couldn't be there because of scheduling conflicts. But just quick aside about Chris Pine, this man is beautiful. Objectively, aesthetically, I mean, he's hot. Yes, he's a hot man. But I think when I look at him, I see more just sort of like conventional, unconventional because it's heightened Hollywood standards, but conventional male beauty as opposed to like sexy, fucking fuck me face, Right. But back to the film, he looks miserable. The early reviews of the film are kind of meh. But I still want to see it because I was intrigued by the trailers, and Olivia Wilde's previous film, Booksmart, was an incredible film. Hilarious, well shot, just concise, funny film with a great story. So, and I love Florence Pugh. Florence Pugh is an amazing actor, and I really want to see everything she does. So I guess I have to see it now. But
I mean, you don't have to.
No, I have to. Florence Pugh has to. I have to abide by anything she does. She's amazing. And also, Florence Pugh recently did post something very nice about the film, saying it was like a lovely experience to meet all these people and to work on it. So it's kind of sweet.
Oh, but sounds like there's a lot of drama. I hope it makes them a lot of money. Because that at the end of the day is what capitalism is all about.
Slay.
Great. Anything else?
We could talk about Adam Levine.
Oh no.
Adam Levine, who, to no surprise to myself, is not a great person. I'm not quite sure.
Which band is he? Is Maroon 5? What band?
Maroon
is he?
5. Yeah,
right,
he's the front man. He's the singer, Maroon 5, and I'm not sure why this is shocking. Then again, I don't know him personally, but I never suspected him to be a person of upstanding morals. He was recently caught cheating, basically, on his wife with at least one, if not multiple women through like Instagram models and things like that. Nothing physical, I don't believe. I think it was a lot of just talking to them, flirting. Right. Almost named his child after one of them as like, I don't know if I couldn't tell if it was like a joke or if he was being serious about it, but people have memed his flirtatious messages or what he considers flirtatious messages, even though I don't think he was that good at it. Memed them all to hell. You've probably seen them all over Twitter, all over TikTok. And I mean, like I said, I never suspected the man was a good person. Maybe it's just because I judge people too harshly too quickly based on a few things that I see, but I never thought I didn't find it surprising whatsoever. And to be honest, Maroon 5 has kind of fallen off for me over the years because I find their old stuff is far superior than their new stuff. But that's just more personal opinion.
I've always found them to be kind of mid anyway.
I think their first two albums, I mean, I am a fan, so I'm biased, obviously. But their first two albums, I think, are objectively, particularly their first album, is great music, especially considering that today, even on the radio, you can still hear songs from their first album being played. But
I mean, some of their music was nice, but I haven't been overly enthusiastic about them ever, which is why I said they were pretty mid. But yeah.
But if we're going to talk about good music, good music, you know, we've got plenty of good music coming up. Carly Rae Jepsen has a new album coming out. Paramore is releasing their first single in years from their upcoming new album, which we don't know when that's going to come out. You know, we had the Beyonce album, which was iconic.
Still need to listen to it.
We have the new Nicki song, Freak, which was really good. We have Lil Nas wrote a song for the League of Legends Championship called Star Walkin', and it's pretty good.
All right, so actually this is part of I have another segment here that's called What's New with the Gays. AKA just like talking about news regarding gays. And this was something I wanted to talk about actually because I had seen this. League of Legends had first like declared Lil Nas to be the president, which was obviously a joke, but I was like, okay, slay. I didn't expect Lil Nas to be the president of League of Legends. But then I listened to that song. Have you listened to it?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I like it.
I was like, slay.
Like I'm not saying it's. I found his album to be the songs of his album to be really really good. Like it's not sending me in the way of like Montero did, whatever, but it's actually solid for something he did for like another company. I think he really, you know, sometimes I suspect some people just do these things for money and they just kind of throw it in, you know, phone it in, but he really put his whole bussy. I think he put his whole bussy in there.
I lived for it, and I didn't really watch. There was like a music video that came out with it. I just listened to the song, and I might be partial because I love him.
You do.
Burning passionate love. But yeah, the song was really good. And I am gonna play it on repeat from now on until the end.
It's lovely. I think I will. It's on my 2022 playlist, so you know, it belongs there.
Do you have a custom 2022 playlist?
Every year on Spotify for the last... I did 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022 now. I make a playlist, basically, where throughout the year I listen to whatever songs come out and I just put them on the playlist. Or if I hear a song and it's like really good that may have been older, but it's something that I'm listening to a lot of, I put it on the playlist.
Oh, wow. I can't wait to hear about what's on it during our wrap-up episodes at the end of 2022, which are coming up, by the way. 3 months.
Jesus. Are we in this What's New with the Gays segment now?
Yeah, here we are. We're in it.
Okay, let's talk about another song, which was disappointing.
Oh! What song?
Do you know the person by the name of Sam Smith?
Yes, I do know a person of the name Sam Smith, yes.
We got such bops and jams from this person as I'm Not the Only One, Stay With Me, Dancing with a Stranger. I believe they identify as non-binary now. I think I'm not quite sure, but I'm going to use they them pronouns just to be
Let's
safe.
do a quick Google. We got Google right at our fingertips, don't we? Sam Smith. Sam Smith is in English, so yeah. But how do they identify? Can we get? They should put pronouns in Wikipedia bios. I'm just saying.
Well, we should contact Wikipedia and be like, "That's a good idea."
They're gonna hound me for money first. After rising, blah blah blah. Smith. They gotta have pronouns somewhere in here. Pronouns. Oh, and Smith is genderqueer and uses they them pronouns. Okay, there we go. That should be at the forefront. Okay. I didn't have to. I had to control F it to find it.
Sam Smith released, like I said, I'm Not the Only One, Stay With Me, Dancing with a Stranger. Too Good at Goodbyes is okay. He did that James Bond song for one of the films. I forgot which one, but they're a very good artist. They have a good voice. I don't know if they necessarily write their own music. I think they do with collaborations with others, but I've enjoyed their work. Kim Petras, icon. Trans, German, I believe, icon. She's lovely. She most recently released Slut Pop. I'm hoping that she releases the next part of her Halloween music this year, because there's supposed to be like a part 3 kind of thing going on. Maybe she will, maybe she won't. They collaborated on a song called Unholy. It's a Sam Smith song featuring Kim Petras.
Unholy. All right, I'm gonna have to listen to it.
And I wouldn't suggest it. No offense to either of them. I'm not a musician. I'm not a music critic. This is just my solo opinion. They're lovely artists by themselves.
It's an opinion podcast, so
yeah, I think both of their music individually is great. I think this sort of mashup between the two of them just didn't do what I thought it was going to do. I think Sam Smith's voice gets lost in it because it's layered so heavily among other things. Sometimes I can't even understand what is being said, and when I listen to other songs of theirs where their voice is just so crystal clear, it's at the forefront, it's commanding, it's sort of like an Adele song basically, where her voice commands basically the whole song. It was kind of disappointing that I couldn't hear their voice that well. And Kim Petras's verse, while fun, it's not enough to salvage a song, and then she's only on a verse and that's basically it. And I understand the context of the song is kind of like hot and sexy. It's sort of about, I think it's about like fucking a married man.
Slay.
But yeah, I think it's about like fucking a married man and doing things that are unholy. But I can't get behind it. It's not on the 2022 playlist. I'll tell you that much.
I will probably still listen to it despite the bad review.
We'll give it a shot.
Yeah, I like trying new things all the time.
Yeah, except for, mud runs.
Why are we bringing that up suddenly? God.
That's something you won't try.
I don't like getting dirty. Can we do a regular run? Is there a regular run?
Just running? Just go outside and run? We can do that.
Yeah, right. Don't get mud all over me. Anyway, the next segment, which was supposed to come before, but anyway, we can do these out of order. I don't care. We can do them any order we want. I've called it "Why Does Politics Suck?" And we don't have to spend too much time on it. But
so the queen is dead.
Yeah, the queen is dead. That's what I wanted to bring up. Actually, that's literally the sentence that is written on my sheet. It says the queen is dead. Yeah. Do we care though? I don't know.
No, I honestly don't. I couldn't care any less than I don't care at all. I couldn't care less. Negative caring.
Negative caring.
She was ancient. The death is not surprising. It's not shocking. She was about, I think, 752 years old, give or take a day. And I don't think anyone was surprised. It's a monarchy that is completely superficial. It's completely vapid. It's completely surface level. There's no depth to it. There's no power to it. It's their version of, it's the UK's or England's version of like Hollywood. They're famous people. They're not really of any import. They're kind of just suckling at the English taxpayers' teat, not really providing much besides social commentary, news, airwave
I don't
time.
think that they hold actually much political power, though they used to, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, they did. The monarchy used to control the country. It did, but slowly over time, those powers were relinquished to the prime minister and the House of. There's something going on, or what is going on in the House of Commons? That kind of.
God, oh my
thing,
God!
yeah.
I need to figure out where this reference is from.
It's from a news. A British news reporter. He's like, "What is going on in the House of Commons?"
Was this during the Queen's death?
No, I think it was actually before. It's also been clipped together with the Vecna clock noise.
Oh, I love that.
So it goes bong, and then what is going on in the House of Commons?
Oh, I love that. But yeah, I also am negative caring about the Queen's death, honestly. I wasn't surprised, but I was surprised at the same time because, honestly, that bitch has lived for so long that I just thought she was going to live.
That bitch. Wow.
I just thought she
what
was gonna
reverence
keep
for the
living.
queen you have.
I mean, at least I'm not British.
That's true. Because
I mean, I have the same like reverence for the queen that I do for Biden, which is non-existent.
Did
Like,
you?
Our bitch. What is he doing?
Damn,
I don't know.
Drag him. Did you see the interview of the British woman being asked by a newscaster how she felt about the Queen's death?
I did. And wasn't she just like, I don't really
And
care?
she's like, honestly, I'm gonna do my best British accent. It's not gonna be good. I'm so sorry for anyone who's British or knows British people. I think she said it's gonna come off more Valley Girl and more like sort of like I'm making her sound ditzy and dumb, but I can't because that's my only in with the accent. So please just bear that in mind. But she kind of was like, she's kind of like, honestly, no, not really.
That was good. That was good.
She was like, no, not really. I mean, the monarchy in and of itself, I don't really believe in, and I don't think is really that important in today's society. I think they're more like, just sort of whatever. And she was far more.
I think it sounds a little Australian. But
yeah, they mix so well. I don't know why, but she said some other shit which I thought was funny, and I that was my sentiment, and I'm not even British.
It's honestly same.
Yeah.
All right. That's all I had for politics. Honestly, did you have anything else you wanted to talk about?
Well, Governor Murphy. If you want to talk about a little local politics.
Oh, talk about New Jersey. I do love me some New Jersey.
Two things.
Most people don't,
Governor
but
Murphy.
yeah.
Oh, well, some people have
most
good
people
taste.
don't like New Jersey.
Some people have good taste. Yeah.
Okay, slay.
Governor Murphy did two things recently. He selected land for a new state park. I don't know where. I didn't find out where he was saying it, but I'm happy there are more state parks. I love state parks. I love land that is controlled by the state government to not be used for anything else but for public usage of just relaxing in a park.
Yeah.
Anything that's not being used for more fucking gravestones, because don't get me started on the whole fucking graveyard cemetery bullshit that I think needs to go away.
Oh,
but
I didn't know you had such feelings about cemeteries.
Oh, we should not be burying our dead.
Oh, you think we should be burning them? Is that what?
Well, okay, you can. There are things you could bury them, but you can't then not use the land for other things. Like burn the dead, fine. Get rid of the ashes, whatever. Fucking throw them in the ocean to sink them. I don't care. But allowing whole huge plots of land to be relegated just for this one thing is crazy in my opinion, because eventually we're just going to need more and more and more land for more and more dead bodies, and it's like this land could be used for more beneficial things. Bury the dead if you want them to be decomposed and put back into the soil, put back into the nutrient cycle. I
want my body to be a tree. Did you hear about that? Like you can become a tree when you die. Like that's what I want for my body.
Yeah. Anyway, back to Governor Murphy.
Yeah.
The other thing he did was he announced that part of his budget was going to be a several $1 million renovation, reconstruction of the New Brunswick train station, which part of the Northeast Corridor line, and I think that area of New Brunswick particularly needs a little work, just because I've frequented that train station so many times. It's a small station. Platforms are large or whatever, but the station itself is relatively small. It's run down, it's old, and I believe any sort of investment in infrastructure is a good investment, so I am happy to hear that this is happening.
I was kind of surprised when that infrastructure bill that was going on didn't get any Republican votes, because I thought that infrastructure was like everyone was like, yeah, we should invest in our infrastructure.
I don't think Republicans like infrastructure, because infrastructure provides provides a lot, but it provides connectivity between distant places, and it allows for a more quick exchange of ideas and ways of life, and I don't think they like a population that is connected. They like a population that's separated.
Oh, hot take.
Yeah. Also, if you use better public transportation, you rely less on vehicles. You rely less on gasoline by personal usage, which I think is something they like because they like the oil industry constantly getting bought into by consumers. So
honestly, New Jersey's really bad for that, because to get around in most of New Jersey, obviously not the cities, but to get around in most of New Jersey, you need a car. Which that's why spend so much gas in this goddamn state. But yeah, like when you have a nice place like Manhattan where you can get around with a lot of public transportation, that is not as good for the oil industry, because you don't need as much gas. I don't know. I personally, if I technically could take public transportation to and from work, but it's too long. It's actually much shorter for me to use my own car. It's more expensive, I guess. Well, it depends on how I work it out, but it could be more expensive otherwise. But if another path station opens up in my neighborhood and the Northeast Corridor line gets revamped with, let's say, faster trains or magnet train, bullet train, whatever kind of system to improve the speed at which it can move people, I would 100% take public transportation. I would keep my car for certain other needs, but I would not be using it as much as I needed it. And at that point, I would love to get an electrical vehicle, but there's not enough electrical charging stations in Jersey itself to warrant really getting one right now. Yeah, which hopefully will change. But yeah, for me to get to work, if I go to work, because I work from home,
lucky you.
The office is in the city. If I do go into the office, I still have to drive 30 minutes before I can get to a train station that can get me to the city. So it's just annoying.
It's rough out there.
It is rough out there. I could take the bus, but the bus also is so much longer than the train.
Yes, it is.
So it's a struggle out here. Anyway, would you want to move on? Actually, that's the end of most of the segments. Did you have any other topics before I do frigid or spicy?
No, I got nothing else.
Great. So then we're going to move on to our lovely segment called Frigid or Spicy, where we, the gays, rate Twitter hot takes on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being frigid and 5 being spicy. Here's the first one. You ready, Pat?
I am so ready.
Hot take. Emotional men are some of the most insufferable, attention-seeking, and annoying people you will ever meet. Not my problem.
Can you repeat that for me?
Yeah, hot take. Emotional men are some of the most insufferable, attention-seeking, and annoying people you will ever meet. Not my problem.
I wish this person would have put the the invert, like what they think of emotionless men are like. But
right.
You know what's... I think the knee-jerk reaction is to say that this person is wrong, because you would think that a person who's more in touch with their emotions would be a good thing. So immediately I wanted to go, oh, well, that's just a frigid, cold take. But
yeah.
I would consider myself a relatively emotional man. And judging by how
are you insufferable?
certain interactions have happened, particularly those I am emotional with, I can see why maybe...
Are you saying you are insufferable because you are emotional?
I'm saying that when you have people who are emotional, and when I say emotional, I mean in touch with their emotions and can express their emotions, things can get hard because emotions are hard. If two people are interacting with each other and both of them have their emotions coming out of each other and trying to sort of meet in the middle or trying to come to terms with what each person is feeling, it can be insufferable. It can be very difficult. I think if this person's discussing or describing emotional men as in someone who's like unable to control their emotions, then yes, sure. But that's anyone who can't control their emotions can be insufferable, can be attention-seeking. Someone who doesn't have a good handle on how they feel and controlling themselves or limiting themselves. So
let me give a little bit more context. This person is actually quote tweeting something else. It's an image of a guy holding up a sign that says, "Guys are allowed to show emotions and should be encouraged to do so."
Okay, well, I think this. If that's their comment to that, then I really don't like what they're saying. I think no. I think this is stupid. Then no. This is frigid. This is
frigid.
This is nearing absolute zero. If this was in response to something more comedic or more sort of situationally funny, I'd understand. But if someone's genuinely holding a sign saying like, men should be more in touch with their emotions, they should be, because people who aren't in touch with their emotions, let them their emotions end up controlling them in ways that they can't control, and then they start acting out in ways that are unhealthy. So
yeah, I would say an emotionless man is the more insufferable one, because it's impossible to figure them out.
Yeah,
men should be more in touch with their emotions. Is what
I
I'm
know men who are not in touch with their emotions, and then they lash out because they can't control or understand them, and then end up hurting people both physically and emotionally.
Ooh,
so to
not
this person,
physically too.
Oh, physically, definitely physically. So to this person who's quote tweeting this, men can be insufferable no matter what form they take. But I can guarantee that an emotional man, one who can express their emotions sort of, not always, no one can express their emotions perfectly every time, but someone who can try, and at least is trying to, is always going to be better than a man who cannot, or a person who cannot.
Absolutely slayed.
So this was frigid, and I'm also mad. Now I'm angry. And I'm angry, and I, as an emotional person, can tell you that, and I identified why I'm angry.
All right, well, let's try a different one, and then hopefully you'll be a little bit less angry.
Sure.
This is from Twitter user @KMTie. Here's a hot take that might lose me some friends, but it seems obvious. Grad students are the lifeblood of academia. We must raise their stipends above the poverty line so they can focus on research instead of survival. When the union strikes, we, the PIs, should strike with them.
This is the good shit. Yes.
Tell me.
This is the good shit right here. Yes, it is.
Oh, I can't wait to see your face in post.
Oh, yes. Is this written by a PI? Did it say like PIs like us should be with them?
It says PhD in their name, so.
Okay, so here's yes. Recently there were some strikes about grad student wages, and there's always issues with grad student wages. There's always our union is always trying to fight for more wages, which I love. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
They're right. So grad students are cheap labor. The school stipend, if you're lucky, will cover your entire tuition, not your entire tuition. Let's say your tuition a year. A stipend would cover your tuition for a year, so you don't have to pay to go, and then also pay you a stipend so you can live. That stipend, it very often fluctuates depending on what school you are, what city you're in. Is several factors affect it. From my stipend, I don't know how they got the number. They just gave it to me. They didn't describe how it was generated. I just got it. When I was a teacher's assistant, I was making less. As a graduate assistant, I make more, but not that much more. And from my circumstance, it's, in my opinion, not enough. Although I will say I don't pay rent right now because I live with my boyfriend and he handles the mortgage, or the loan, the mortgage for this place. So I am actually at an advantage here among grad students, because many other grad students have to pay their rent unless they live at home, of course.
Yeah.
Even with that, it's not really enough. And the labor that we provide a lab is usually a lot of labor, because when you look at a lab, at least the labs that I've been in, you have the PI that more often than not, their primary focus is not on lab research. Their primary focus is on grant writing, getting money for the lab, writing manuscripts to publish, coordinating stuff, probably teaching, and then maybe some lab work, directing lab work. There are also postdocs who are paid differently, which I will not talk about because I don't know about that too well. But normally you don't have many postdocs in one lab. You could have one or two. The main bulk of the work is actually graduate students, which depending on the size of the lab, you could have many grad students, or in my case, you could have one grad student doing literally all the work of the lab.
Yeah, it sounds like I kind of picked up from the fact that, you know, all the text messages that you send me and Jackie, it sounds like full-time work. And it sounds like you should make a full-time wage.
And it's not even full-time, because if we're talking about full-time, we're talking about, what, about 40 hours a week, let's say?
Yeah.
It's more than that. Because scientific academic research does not obey laws of labor, because experiments can run for longer than 12 hours. They can run at time intervals, which you have to be there at 6 hours, 12 hours, 18 hours, 24 hours. Like, you have to be there at those time periods to go look at them, which obviously bring you past a regular 9 to 5. You might have to go in on the weekends because you have a week-long experiment like I normally do. I went into lab both today and yesterday and the entire rest of the weekday. I was there every single day, 7 days a week. So I think it's completely ridiculous that grad students are paid. I had a friend who went to grad school who was making far less than me, and his institution rationalized it by saying that the standard of living, the cost of living, was much lower in the area. But it was still not high enough to even support him living in the area. So I feel very strongly about this, and I feel that grad students should be paid far more than they actually are. But of course, that then limits the amount of grad students that can be taken on in a department. There's always a funding issue. That's just it's a very complicated issue, but they should be paid a lot more.
So how do you rank this take then?
Oh, it's volcanic. It's 5. It's on fire. It's melting the earth. It's a solar flare. It's just it's literally the polar opposite of what the last take was.
Yeah, I went I went from the worst take possible to a take that I knew you would be passionate about.
I'm on fire.
Oh my god. Anyway, that's the last hot take that I have. So should we do a would you, could you, should you, and then we can sign out?
Yeah, tell me, lay it on me.
All right, this is Would You, Could You, Should You, where we, the gays, decide to present each other with some ridiculous scenarios and ask each other, would you, could you, should you?
Yeah.
I'm working on my my segment intros here. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, here's mine. I'm actually pulling this one off of Twitter as well because I was looking at some fun scenarios that other people were posting. This is from Twitter user WTF AFOS, AFOS. Would you rather be sexually attracted to another species or be able to only have sex when another family member is watching?
Oh. Okay. How distantly related can the family member be?
Like, you're gonna ask if it could be me?
Yeah. I don't care if you watch me fuck someone, but I'm not letting my mom do it, so...
I'll say, like, the furthest away it could be is, like, first cousin.
Oh my god, I don't want them looking at it. If my first cousins watch me fuck someone, they're gonna realize how boring their sex lives are.
Oh! And then they're gonna be like, oh my god, I gotta spice it up.
Yeah, I mean, they're all just straight, probably just having missionary, and I'm over here fucking doing Cirque du Soleil with that pussy.
There could be kinky straight people.
Okay, anyway,
likely, but,
that's a different topic. Well, it said I had to be sexual... Wait, it says the first one's like what, sexually attracted to another species?
Sexually attracted to another species.
Is that the only thing I'm sexually attracted to?
It doesn't specify.
I'd rather be sexually attracted to another species because I don't have to act on it.
That's true.
So I would rather just, okay, I'll think like, I don't know, a fucking duck is hot, but I'm not going to fuck it because I know that's weird, so I'll just go back to fucking the person that I'm with.
Right. It doesn't, like, you can be sexually attracted to the duck, but also be sexually attracted to humans.
Yeah.
Just have
if anything,
this, like,
I'll just
kind of side thing.
I'll just put a duck bill on my boyfriend and be like, all right, now when I'm fucking you, you just have to squawk a little bit. And he'll be like, yeah.
I was gonna bring furries into it, but I decided not to.
Well, it's, furries. I'm sure there are some furries who are sexually attracted to the idea of an animal, which might be. I mean, I'm not saying that's all furries, but I'm sure someone is. There's no matter what you think of, someone's gonna be into it. So you know.
Honestly, that's true.
And there's nothing wrong with it as long as everyone's okay and safe and not being hurt. Then why not? Like whatever.
The worst thing, it's like I've always heard people say, if you can think it, then there's a porn of it somewhere, and that scares me.
I mean, there's the porn of the guy getting fucked by a horse. Like,
slay.
There is.
Good thing I've never seen it, and
I think he died afterwards. To be honest.
Oh my! Did we talk about this? I think I remember this actually.
Yeah, we have talked about it before. Yeah.
Oh my god! All right, do you have a would you could you should you for me?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay, so would you rather? Oh, okay. Let me just. I have half of it. Hold on. I just need the other half to sort of formulate in my head.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Would you rather transform into a Titan once
from Attack on Titan?
Attack on Titan.
Okay.
Once every day for a minute.
Okay.
At least. It has to be at least a minute. Afterwards, you can stay longer, but it has to be at least a minute once every day for a minute. Or be a Titan 1 year, and then the next year you have off. And then the next year you have to be a Titan for the entire year.
Okay. Do I know what time of day this happens, or is it random?
It's the same time every day. It's the same time every day.
Oh, same time every day? Okay.
Yeah.
Then I think probably the Titan for a minute per day, because then I could like control where I am when I become a Titan, so that I perhaps don't eat anybody when I'm a Titan for a minute.
Well, okay. You can be a sentient Titan.
Oh, okay, I'm a sentient Titan.
But the problem is that when you become a Titan, there's a huge explosion.
Right. That's why I'm
saying.
So you have to control where I am.
Yeah, you have to be away from people for a minute every day, and you could stay longer if you want to. But alternatively, you'd have to be a Titan for a year, and then you could have a year off where you're not a Titan at all.
I think being a Titan for a year is a little bit more inconvenient, but I think I can deal with a minute per day. That's fine, because then I'll just go like into the woods that are nearby, because I live in a pretty wooded area. So I just go into the woods, turn into a Titan. Maybe, I don't know. If I can control myself, I could just like swing around in some trees or something.
Yeah, dick swinging.
Yeah. I think a minute per day is fine.
Okay, wow, I love that.
What about you?
Part of me wants to be a Titan for a year because I'm thinking about how much I could do for other people in that year. Like,
would you be like a superhero?
Not like a superhero necessarily, but like you could build shit. You could help like what if someone needs like a huge area like flattened, or you need like a huge area like a big estuary opened. Like, you could probably put yourself to work.
Slay.
And it's like it's a year, which sucks, but like you're sentient, so you can go like hang out with people if you want.
Strike up a friendly conversation while you are.
You'd have to. Would you get? I guess you get hungry though. So you have to eat something. I guess I'd have to just like cook like a whole cow.
Oh my god, we have to record the podcast with you as a Titan.
Yeah.
Or I just record the podcast as myself, but
alone for a year and then I come back the next year.
Alone.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could do that. I don't know if I could do a podcast by myself. Anyway, Slay. I think that's it.
If you never hear this podcast because there's a problem with editing it together, just know this is one of the lost episodes.
We'll figure it out. And if it is a lost episode, we'll post it on our Patreon in the future. We don't have a Patreon, but
if we did, you'd get this lost episode.
That's how you'd get it.
Yeah.
Thank you everybody for listening or watching to this episode of What's the Gays Think. Make sure to go ahead and follow us on Twitter. That's where you can get all of our updates. It's at WDTGT Podcast. And we also stream on Twitch every Monday and Thursday at like 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Our Twitch is What Do the Gamers Think? But of course, you can go into the description of the episode and just click that link. Clink away to our Twitch.
Clink clunk.
And if you want to join our Discord server, we do have one. It's called Pride Empire. You can use the link in the description as well to join that. Thanks everybody, and I am Mac Lubeck.
And I'm all caked up in the baby batter, Patrick.
Okay. So, goodbye.
Bye.